So I have a new video out where I mention Scott Adams and his term word thinking. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now because I have a tweet titled Word Thinking, and I refer to two specific terms here that largely have a political context. So I say word thinking. I think we should hit the brakes on reactionary and progressive to reduce confusion in the future. The reason why is that reactionary, which is conservative, basically, okay, traditionalist, it's commonly conflated with reactive. So if someone's being reactionary, it doesn't necessarily mean they're on the right wing. They might be left wing. But, reactive, reactionary, I mean, it's virtually the same word. I'm not sure. They might actually be synonymous in the dictionary as well. But in a political context, it is confusing at times. So, then you have progressive. Progressive implies that societal progress can only be achieved by moving all vectors in a specific direction, which would be to the left. So when you say, well, you're not being very progressive, they've kind of branded themselves, and I actually have some progressive views, if you understand the term, but they've branded themselves as the people for progress. It's not regressive, it's progressive. And of course, a number of people on the political left actually say, when they're criticizing, you might have seen this quite a bit, they actually say, that's not progressive, that's regressive. So, progressive, it's kind of, I think it feels like a marketing term. This feels like a marketing term to me at this junction, or this juncture. Don't want to get that wrong. But I say we hit the brakes because they say you're a reactionary. Well, wait a second. I reacted in due time. I wasn't too reactionary. I was very stable. I was very calm. I was very cool. No. You're on the right. You're a reactionary. I think it's a term from like the 19th century. Oh, the door closed. It's a sign. It's a sign. But no, it's a term from the 19th century, I believe. People that reacted to the changing times and were traditionalist, they were seen as reactionaries. If I got that term wrong, leave a comment below with the correction. Please, and thank you. But that's the general gist of it. And you'll see people get called reactionary, and they're talking about the word reactive. So it is kind of confusing. That's just my opinion. And of course, progressive, like I said, implying that societal progress can only be achieved by going left, by moving all vectors left. Otherwise, lest they not be progressive, they be regressive. Going to the right is automatically regressive. That's not always the case. There are certainly a great argument. Scott Adams uses this, that capitalism delivers what socialism promises. Now, capitalism is the more right-wing economic system, and socialism is the more left-wing economic system. So to say that capitalism is regressive and socialism is the future, that may well be true once the issue of scarcity is figured out. There's a number of things. I think you have to reduce. Once you have absolute abundance, of course, yes, you can go into socialism. To get to absolute abundance, you have to use capitalism. You can't take a top-down approach on economics. You have to raise all boats on a high tide. High tide lifting all boats up so that there's more abundance, so then you can start, the free market becomes less important, and suddenly you're in a situation where you can give things away. You can give away some of the abundance you have. But when there's in a world of scarcity, capitalism is more progressive. So I say we get rid of progressive and reactionary, and we find new words. And of course, this is word thinking.